Welcome to another episode of Geeks Keep You Running. This is Season 3, Episode 19, entitled Don't Wing It, Plan It, Budgeting Bytes and Tech-Savvy Sense. As always, Geeks Keep You Running is brought to you by Piedmont Technical Experts, where they keep you running. Geeks Keep You Running is hosted by Jonathan Beck. Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Geeks Keep You Running, the show where we take tech stress and turn it into tech success, one episode at a time. I'm your host, Jonathan Beck, and as always, this episode is brought to you by the good folks over at Piedmont Technical Experts, where we believe that IT shouldn't just keep the lights on, it should help your business shine. Today's episode, it's about technology planning and budgeting, which, I get it, may not sound sexy and exciting, but trust me, it's the foundation of keeping your tech running smooth, secure, and headache-free. Let's get into it. If your current IT strategy is wait until it breaks and pray Amazon Prime delivers overnight, we've got a problem. Too many businesses run on reactive thinking. Hardware failures, software renewals that they forgot about, and surprise bills that show up like an unexpected boss visit on a Friday afternoon. Tech planning isn't about forecasting the future perfectly, it's about reducing the number of surprises and making smarter, more predictable decisions that align with your business goals. So here's the first question every business should ask when thinking about IT investments. What do we actually need to operate effectively, productively, and in a way that reduces risk? So what we want to avoid is what's the coolest gadget, or what's the new shiny hitting the market. I'm looking at you, triple monitor standing desk setup. But what are the actual friction points in your day-to-day operations? There are several things that need to be mapped out when you're talking about your tech budget. First up is, where is your productivity and efficiency lagging? Next up, what's breaking most often? Also, what is the oldest, most critical systems in your business? What would it mean if they stopped working for a day or two if they broke unexpectedly? Next up, are the tools helping your team do their jobs efficiently and productively, or is it slowing them down? So think about it this way. When your employees spend 5 minutes each morning waiting for their PCs to boot, that time adds up. What do I mean by that? If an employee makes $15 an hour each year, that 5 minutes adds up to $325 of lost revenue per employee, or lost productivity minimally. So, give you some additional numbers here. For 5 employees, that would be $1,600 a year. For 10 employees, $3,200. If you have 20 employees losing 5 minutes a day, that's $6,500 of lost productivity. Obviously, that number goes up if the hourly wage goes up, but that's something to consider too. Once you've identified your needs, it's time to set priorities. Because unless you've got an unlimited IT budget, and by the way, if you do, I can make you some great recommendations, you really can't or won't be able to fix everything all at once. You need to plan it out, you need to filter. And we try to provide our clients a guide to prioritize those purchases based on the following criteria. First up is urgency. What's putting your data, your customers, or your operations at risk? Whether it is a cybersecurity issue or risk, or if it's a hardware issue or risk. So business impact refers to which upgrades will provide measurable ROI or return on investment. Sometimes what we look at when we're making recommendations to a client is, what's the biggest bang for your buck? What's the low-hanging fruit? What upgrades will get you more without spending a whole lot? It's that kind of business impact that we're looking for, or which of the technology recommendations made are going to overall improve your performance so that your business performs most efficiently and most productively. So the final criteria that we look at is strategic alignment. Does the move support your long-term goals? So if you say you need a new firewall, for instance, the recommendation for the specific device needs to line up with what your business is going to look like in the next 1 to 3 to 5 years, and we'll get into that in the next section. For instance, if you're planning to expand your team next year, investing in scalable infrastructure or better cloud tools now may beat replacing the office printer yet again. So one of the biggest budgeting mistakes we see is holding on to tech way past its prime, or as I like to describe it, run it till the wheels fall off. I get it, squeezing every dollar out of a laptop or server seems efficient, but when it crashes during an important client call, or doesn't support your current software, or starts costing your employees productivity because they can go walk around the building, get a cup of coffee each morning while their machine boots up, it starts costing you more than it's saving. So in the next couple slides, we'll talk about a general guideline for what's a good life cycle for certain hardware. The other piece of this is a lot of hardware is rated to last a certain period of time, so just throwing more hardware in it doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to get that additional runtime. So if you right size it for right now, you will end up in making more efficient use of your IT budget spend. So first up, let's talk about laptops and desktops. These are your end user devices. They are typically rated to last 3 to 5 years. Why the range? Because it depends on the model of the laptop that you get. Some of the lower end laptops will run 3 years, higher end laptops are rated to run about 5 years. Laptops will also have some inherent wear and tear where you'll probably want to replace them before they get to year 5. Desktops, on the other hand, definitely can go 5 years unless they're super heavily used or have specialized software that is resource intensive. In that case, it may also have a 3-year lifespan based on the software requirements for it. So networking equipment, this is things like your access points and your switches, the things that provide you connectivity within your building. Typically, networking equipment is good to go for 5 to 7 years. If it's right-sized out of the door. What you don't necessarily want to have happen is to see if you can squeeze that 10-year mark out of hardware, and then all of a sudden an entire switch goes down, and now you have, how many ever people are connected to that device be down without internet access or access to network resources like printers or servers. Server hardware. So server hardware will run about 5 years as a max life cycle. You want to plan on replacing it every 5 years. This means you need to be able to plan the sizing of that server to last you 5 years. How much drive space you're currently using and providing for growth. Additionally, with servers, because they're in climate controlled rooms usually, they're not being moved around a whole lot, things like that, you can really get to that 5-year max if you're buying new out of the box. Alright? Firewalls, these are your edge network devices. They're typically rated to be good for 4 to 6 years, depending on your usage as well as the capacity. What do I mean by that? So if you currently have an internet connection of, say, 900 meg and it's a cable modem connection, you would be sized for a certain size firewall. But let's say you add a 2 gig fiber connection next year. Well, that same firewall may not be able to handle more than a gig of throughput, which means you would still be capped at a gig even though you're paying for a 2 gig fiber line. In that scenario, that would throw that firewall into a different life cycle. So you want to take your capacity planning into play when you're purchasing a firewall. So when we're looking at these life cycles, what this should allow you to do is to build funds into your budget with a rolling replacement plan. You don't want to replace all your PCs in one shot or maybe even in 1 year if you have a lot of machines. This means that you're replacing or upgrading a few systems every year, different points during the year. That way the entire office is not down all at once, or that the entire office isn't going through a massive upgrade. It spreads the cost out, keeps your systems modern, and avoids the dreaded everything broke this month syndrome. So let's talk about those sneaky costs: support contracts, licenses, and renewals. They always seem to pop up at the worst time. Maybe it's your antivirus license, your firewall subscription, or maybe it's your Microsoft 365 account. If you're not proactively tracking these, you could end up unprotected, non-compliant, or scrambling last minute to renew something critical like your email. You know, one of the things that we recommend is creating a simple renewal calendar, especially for your annual agreements or multi-year agreements. Log your tools and services, add in expiration dates. Review contracts before renewal to make sure you're actually using those apps and that those apps still meet your needs. This is especially critical for security tools, line of business apps, backup solutions, and email systems. Now, how do you actually go about building a tech budget? Start by grouping your expenses. You want to have a line item in there for lifecycle replacements. That's your desktops, laptops, servers, networking gear, etc. Licensing and support. That's going to be things like your email, like Microsoft 365, Google G Suite, antivirus, firewalls, and your line of business software. You need to have something in there for projects and improvements. Things like migrations, upgrades, new initiatives. Are you putting in a new office or moving to a new office? What are the tech requirements for such a move? Maintenance and monitoring. That's your IT support, MSP services, things of that nature. You should have some budget funds for training and awareness. That's cybersecurity training, onboarding a new employee so that they are tech aware. And you should probably set a little aside for a contingency fund for surprises, because, you know, even with the best plan, you will still occasionally get surprised. A good rule of thumb is for a tech-reliant business, meaning your business would be down if your tech was down, is plan for 3 to 5% of your annual revenue for IT. If you're handling sensitive data or operate in a regulated industry, you may need to budget more. And always plan at least 12 months ahead. Ideally 18 to 24 months if you're thinking bigger picture. So here's where I get to toot our own horn a little bit, but it's only because it's true. You don't have to do this all alone. Working with a trusted IT partner like Piedmont Technical Experts means we help you identify your true needs. We're not here just to sell you gear or services. We want to sell you the right solution for your business. We can monitor your systems and devices so we know what's going on, what's aging out, what's breaking a lot and makes sense to replace early. We can also help you support your license renewals. No more scrambling at the last minute. We can help you forecast your IT needs based on your business goals. And we can help build your budget together so that there's no surprises. Think of us as your IT CFO. We bring strategy, not just support. Tech planning is a partnership. And when your MSP knows your business, your goals, and your tools, we can guide you to make smarter decisions, better uptime, with fewer emergency expenses, and that means you're more efficient, you're more productive, and you've reduced your risk. So, if there's one message I hope you take from today's episode, don't wing your IT, plan it. Build a roadmap, track your renewals, replace your aging tech before it becomes a liability, replace your problematic tech before it becomes more of a liability, and most importantly, partner with someone who has your back. At Piedmont Technical Experts, we've helped businesses all across the Triad stay one step ahead of tech headaches and within their budget. Need help putting together your next tech plan? Let's chat. Visit us online at PiedmontTechnicalExperts.com. Give us a call, or if you'd like, you can schedule with us to do an on-site chat with you or a virtual chat. This has been Geeks Keep You Running. I'm Jonathan Beck. Until next time, keep your bytes budgeted and your tech tidy. If you enjoyed this episode, I do encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. And definitely, if you have any comments, feel free to drop us a line on our social media or give us a call at the office at Piedmont Technical Experts.